Are you ready to make it rain? Learn from the best in the biz on how to take your business to the next level. You're now entering the growth zone on the Guts and Glory Show with your host, Louise Scott.
Hey guys, welcome to the Guts and Glory Show. So excited that you're here. I'm your host, Luis, and today I'm going to have a short clip talking about the 5 Ps that you have to have in order to hire great employees and also in order to retain great employees. And I think that if you put these things in perspective, which is not one of the Ps, but if you put this in perspective and you put a plan in action, planning is also not one of the Ps, you're going to have a more successful outcome when it comes to the employees that you bring on and the employees that you retain in your business. So the first thing that you want to do is when you have an employee, you want to make sure that you have the right projects. So these are the tasks that they need to be engaged in. What should they be doing? What should they be working on? When an employee knows what they're going to be working on, when an employee knows what their responsibility is, it's more likely that they're going to find that fulfillment in their job. They're going to find that fulfillment in what they do. So it's really, really important that you have the right projects for them, and so that they know what they're going to do. One of the feedback that we've gotten, and we have several hundred employees, but one of the feedbacks that we've gotten in the past is that people felt like they didn't know how to advance in the company. People felt like they didn't know how to get to the next level. People felt like they didn't know what the expectation was, or what did success look like, or how did they know they were doing a good job. And so having the right projects for the individual is going to provide a lot more clarity when it comes to their job and what they should be doing. The second thing is having the right people around them. Now, this word comes to culture. We hear this word a lot, the word culture, and I don't think people really understand what culture is. Culture is the way that your business operates. Culture is the way that people perceive the organization to treat its people, both from the organization to the people, but how the people treat the organization back. Does the organization love, respect, show grace and mercy to its people? And then do the people appreciate that love, respect, mercy, and grace, and they reciprocate in kind? And I think that having the right culture around people will determine the whether the retention of the employee. Recently, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was telling me that he had left his company for a new company because of higher pay, and that's one of the most important things is getting more pay. But he had left because of more pay, and he wanted to make sure that he was being properly compensated. But the new company he's with is totally toxic. It's inefficient. It's being run terribly. And so he's thinking about actually going back. And so we want to make sure that we have the right people around us and we have the right culture. And one of the things that he mentioned was that his boss was a tyrant, and his boss was disrespectful, and his boss didn't treat people right. So we want to make sure that we have the right people. So projects, number 1, people, number 2. Number 3 is the right power. Now, this goes to authority. Are we empowering people with the right level of authority? Do they know what they can and cannot do? Do they know what their authority is as it relates to their colleagues, their subordinates, and then their supervisors and the people that they report to? And in some situations, if the person's not a leader, they may not have any subordinates, but we want to know what their level of authority is. What decision-making authority do they have the ability to make? And I think that this gives people a sense of security. Because if a person doesn't have the authority to select when they want to have PTO, if the person doesn't have the authority to select where and when they should work, that's going to change the dynamics of the business. So you want to make sure that you have the right authority. Number 4 is pay. I wrote down prosperity, but pay is the 4th P. Is the money right? If you want to retain people, you have to make sure you're paying people market value. Here's the interesting thing about employees, and I've learned this over the years, is that employees tend to want to get paid not based upon their work product or the value that they contribute, but rather based upon the circle of friends that they have and the compensation that they make. And so what I find a lot, especially in the legal industry, is you'll have a legal assistant who mingles with a lot of attorneys. And because they mingle with a lot of attorneys, they are accustomed to knowing people who make 6 figures. And those individuals tend to be the ones that always feel like they're being underpaid. They'll say things like, why does the attorney make $200,000 and I do all the work and I get paid $60,000? What they don't recognize is that the position is only worth $60,000 because you didn't go to law school, and there's an inherent increase in value because you went to law school and became an attorney. Now that may not always be the case, and there may be some attorneys that are not worth $200,000, and I get that. but you want to make sure that you're paying people market value. And if a person believes that their lifestyle or their circle of friends require them to get paid more, then they either need to elevate themselves to find a new position, or they have to go to another job. And so, but we want to make sure that the pay is correct. And then the last one is we want to make sure that we have the right partnerships. And that is that we have developed a interdependent relationship with the employee so that they feel like they are a co-contributor and co-creator in the business. There's nothing worse than being in an organization where you feel like you're just another piece of their operations machine, and that you play no significant part in the success of the business. You want to be a part of the success. You want to be a contributor. You want to be a creator, and you want to be part of what is happening to grow the business. And so, if you're an employer out there, if you're a boss out there, make sure that you have the right projects for your team member. Make sure that you surround them with the right people and you have the right culture. Make sure that you give them the authority that they need to have so that they know where their authority lies. Make sure that the pay, their prosperity is in line. They know how to get the next promotion. They know how to get the next pay raise. And lastly, make sure that you're partnering with each individual employee. And if you do that, you're not only going to hire some great talent, you're going to retain it. And the name of the game is retention. If you can retain your team, you're more likely to be successful in the long run. And if you can't retain your team, you're more likely to be super inefficient. So with that, go out, make sure you hire, make sure you retain, and make sure you create an environment where people love to work. Thank you for joining us on the Guts and Glory Show.
This show has been brought to you by 8-Figure Firm Consulting. At 8-Figure Firm, we help law firms turn into law businesses. Stop wasting your time with gurus who've never built a successful business. At 8-Figure Firm, we'll show you how to unleash the power of your law firm for personal and financial freedom. For more information, go to 8figurefirm.com. You've been listening to the Guts and Glory Show. For more, and to learn more about Luis, hit the website at luisscottjr.com. For consulting opportunities, hit 8figurefirm.com. That's the number 8figurefirm.com. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and we'll see you next time on the Guts and Glory Show.